I'm Anil Kumar, sharing with you questions on finding derivatives using rules. Now here we will use quotient rule to find derivative of the given function. The question is, find slope of the tangent line at x equals to 4 on the curve f of x equals to square root of x plus 5 divided by square root of x. Now here we have quotient of two variables. We could write this function as f of x as u over v, right? U of x times v of x. Let me write like this. That's the function given to us. Now derivative of a function is basically, if you use the quotient rule, square of the denominator, right? So v of x square, derivative of the numerator times denominator minus numerator times derivative of the denominator, right? So that's the quotient rule which we are going to apply to find derivative of the function. Once we find an expression, we'll substitute x equals to 4 to find slope of tangent line at x equals to 4. So I hope the strategy is absolutely clear, right? So let's begin by finding the derivative of this function. So we can write this as f dash x equals to. You can also note that in this case, x is greater than or equal to 0. Right? That's kind of important to understand. Okay. Now, denominator square, that means square root x square. We have to find derivative of numerator. Let me write d dx of square root x plus 5 times square root x minus the first function, which is square root of x plus 5 times derivative of square root x, correct? So that's what the formula is. So this is like derivative of this function times the other function. Is it okay? Now since x is greater than or equal to 0, square root of x squared is x. That's very important to understand. If it is not so, normally it is always like this, but if it is not so, then it is absolute value of x. Remember that. Okay. So what we can do here is derivative of this function is treat this as to the power of half. Half to the power of minus 1 is minus half. So I'm cutting down on steps here and writing derivative of this function as 1 over 2 square root x plus 5, right? Not very difficult, but I've missed few steps. That's the derivative of this function. You could do it separately also. Times square root x minus, we have square root of x plus 5 times, so this is again to the power of half, that gives me half, and then half to the power of minus 1 is 1 over square root 2, right? So that's what I used here, correct? So that becomes the derivative. Now some of you can straight away plug in 4 right at this stage, calculate the answer, right? But at times you may be asked to find an expression in the simplified form. So I'm continuing. So I'll try to find an expression in simplified form. So this is 1 over x. I want to show you that step also. And the numerator, we can take denominator of, so this is 1 over x, right? So this is that part. 2 square root x square root x plus 5, correct? So that becomes the common denominator. Now 2 is common. Now this and this. So to get square root x, we have to multiply square root x both. So we have square root of square minus this square, which is x plus 5 square. Is it okay? Okay, so let's take it to the right side and then simplify. I could squeeze in here also one step. So let's do that. So it could be written as this is x square minus x plus 5, correct? And here we get 2 times x times square root x times square root of x plus 5. I hope you can see this. Okay. Anyway, let me push it a bit. Fine. So what we get here is derivative of the function is, it's just x, square root of x. So x minus x is 0, you get minus 5. So you get minus 5 over, so we get all this, which is 2 times x times square root x times square root of x plus 5, correct? Now we can find the derivative at x equals to 4 by substituting 4 here, correct? 4x. So we get minus 5 over 2 times 4 times square root of 4 times square root of 4 plus 5. 4 plus 5 is 9, square root is 3, right? So that gives us minus 5. So with these terms are 2 times 4 times square root of 4 is 2, and that is 9, square root is 3, correct? So that gives us the answer, minus 5 over 2 times 4 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, times 3 is 48. So the slope of the tangent line at x equals to 4 is minus 5 over 48. So I hope the steps are very clear. Sometimes it may be tricky to solve these kinds of fractions, but practice them because you'll have to do many times. I'm Anil Kumar, and I hope that helps. You can always share and comment on my videos, and if you like, I'll appreciate your putting some likes. Thank you, and all the best.